I just got here to the office and I got my 2 children with me.
Great. So we just finished the lesson. The guys are just doing homework. Some have returned already. We are recording this session, so I will send this out after for everyone to catch the replay. Lots of people catching the replay every night because everyone is obviously in different time zones. So just to let you know what's going on.
Sweet.
Thank you for taking the time to come on in today and to share your inspiring story with us. I've shared already a little bit with the guys via email, so everyone knows you already. However, obviously, just maybe let us know a little bit about yourself, say who you are and what you do and about the story, how you got started with what prep as well.
Sure. Yeah, so I run a company called WOD Prep, and WOD Prep is it's an online training company that helps people get better at CrossFit. So if anyone's familiar with CrossFit, it's a type of fitness training methodology, and there's a lot of various skills and techniques to learn. Just like in business, there's a lot of different skills you need to be good at in order to achieve success. So I help people achieve success in CrossFit by teaching them all of the different things that they need to learn within the sport. So yeah, that's what I do. And really the reason it got started is because when I got out of college, I actually started my own company. I ran a CrossFit gym that was, brick and mortar, meaning it was in an actual location. I trained people in person and ran a CrossFit gym with one of my friends and grew that up. And then I ended up getting married. So I got married to someone who was in the military. And when someone's in the military, you follow them around no matter where they go. So I have followed her. For those who are familiar with U.S. geography, I followed her from Maryland to Florida to California, and then from California to Japan, and then from Japan here to Colorado. So we've traveled all over the world following her around for her job because she has to listen to where they tell her to go. So when I realized that I was going to be married to someone in the military, I was like, what am I going to do? I'm going to have to move around. I'm not going to be able to have a normal job. Or if I did, I'd have to find a new one every, 2 to 3 years. So that's what kind of led me down the rabbit hole of maybe trying to start an online business. I couldn't stand the thought of working for someone else. So I said, hey, let's try working for myself again. Because I had already run like a couple smaller companies that had nothing to do with the internet. They were all in person. But I was like, I'm going to try this whole online thing. And then one thing led to another. I made a couple videos. I saw some traction. And then I compiled lots and lots of information and learned about internet marketing and how to start an online business. And then that turned into the business that exists today, which is WOD Prep. And here I am actually. I can't believe it. I actually have a physical location now where I just wanted an office. I actually didn't want to work from home anymore. I got tired of it. I got tired of having the fridge so close to me and me trying not to eat ice cream all day. So I was like, I'm going to go rent an office. So now I have this office space with a big video studio in the back. And it's all because of taking the leap and saying, hey, I'm going to start my own business and see where it takes me.
Amazing. I definitely feel you with not wanting to live so near the fridge or near the bed or anything like that. I think after so many years not having an actual office, it's amazing to finally have one back again.
Yeah, having an office is actually kind of nice. And I can get away, the dogs, they enjoy it, I think. And it just kind of gets me in the mindset of like, all right, it's work time. And then when I go home, it's home time. But if you work from home, it's great, and it's definitely necessary in the beginning. I mean, we built the company, decently sized, just working from home. But it has been nice to go back to an official office because it just, it makes you feel more professional, and it's cool to have a place to host people. So yeah, it's been fun.
Awesome. Dee says, I have to find ways to send you all no added sugar cookies.
I love sugar cookies, so I will take any sugar cookies I can take, even if they don't have any sugar in them. That seems a little risky, but I believe you.
I think it's about no added sugar. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're delicious. I always accept treats.
So, amazing. You were able to travel everywhere. You are still able to do it, even if you wouldn't, have that office. That's pretty cool. Maybe share a little bit with us. How was it to get started? How was it when you actually got started with your first course? And then you have quite a few different courses built up now on your platform, right?
Yes, we do. Yeah, it's funny. So basically, when I first started WOD Prep, I was releasing videos on a consistent basis, and I didn't exactly know where that was going to lead me. So I was making some YouTube videos, I was making some Facebook videos, and my wife, this is while we were living in San Diego in California, Southern California, and my wife was just kind of like, Ben, what are you doing? Like, you need to make some money, because my buyout for my first CrossFit gym was, wrapping up, and I was like, I don't know. She just thought I was playing on the internet all day, just wasting time. So what I decided to do was I decided to take one of my favorite subjects to teach. I really focused down on a very specific subject that I like to teach, and then I decided to make a video course. I was like, hey, if I was going to teach someone how to do this in person, what would I do? And I basically, set up a really old tripod and a terrible camera and press record. And I actually filmed my first course during the in-between time from a noon class. So there was like a class that went from like noon to 1 p.m. And then they started class at 4:30 p.m. So in between 1 p.m. and 4:30 p.m., I shot the entire course all in one day. And that course still exists today. We have made a couple small edits, but in the reality, it's like that course still exists today, almost 6 years later, and it still sells every single week. And it's amazing. It started at $29, I think is when I launched it. It was $29. Now it's $200. Still the same content, just a little bit better organized. And yeah, it just like, all I did was I just said, hey, I'm going to test this out. I'm going to shoot a course on something I know a lot about. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be finished. And I can prove to my wife that I actually can make money on the internet, and also prove to myself. So I shot this course. I edited it myself. It was terrible. There was typos in the editing. It was an absolute disaster, but I already had this email list, a very small email list, but I had an email list and an audience of people who trusted me. And I was just like, let's try to sell it to them. And I sold it to them. And I remember I stayed up all night long finishing the sales page and writing an email, and I sent it to my email list. Again, it was a small email list. I click send, and it's like this long, ugly email. It's like just the longest email ever about how this is for sale, and I was also really afraid to sell. So it's like, it was for sale, but if they thought the price was too high, let me know. And I want to turn this thing, WOD Prep, into a business. So like, don't get mad at me. Like, it was just like, I was very afraid to sell. So I sent this huge email, and I clicked send, and this was at like 6 a.m, and I'd stayed up the entire night. So I was like, it was crazy. I stayed up all night, sent the email, and then I just like sat back and like waited to, get some sales. And then I started to get tired, and about 15 minutes after sending that first email, I was like, all right, I'm getting sleepy. I haven't slept all night. So I went to bed and set my alarm for like, 2 hours later, taking a 2-hour nap. Well, I woke up 2 hours later, checked my email, and there was nothing. Not a single sale had come in. I was like convinced either something was broken. And then when I checked that things weren't broken, like I ran a test sale and things were working fine, I realized I was a complete failure. And then I should probably go work across the street at Costco. And And then I went back to bed and I was like all depressed. It was like, this is my one chance and I'm a failure now. Well, I went back to bed. My wife came home from work at like 3 p.m. and was like, what are you sleeping right now? What are you doing? And I was like, I'm a failure. And then I like checked my email again and I actually had 3 sales come in.
Nice.
And then it just like flipped everything upside down. And I was like, oh my God, we did it. And what I think I ended up selling like $100 or $200 worth of courses that week. But just having that first sale come in was I don't know, that was like the spark that set aflame my like, I can do this. You know, I do have the confidence to do this. And then, yeah, it just took off from there. And it's been a great ride since then.
Amazing. Amazing. It's definitely such a great, I think everyone remembers their very first online sale. Like you will never forget it.
Yeah. Oh, I definitely won't. And what's pretty cool is I'm pretty sure the very first purchase, whoever bought one of my courses, I met him personally. And that one course actually helped him like qualify for some really big events and stuff like that because he was able to fix this one movement. But it's so cool. Like he still is involved in our business. I mean, literally the very first customer. So that, I don't know, it's really cool to see that come full circle. And we're still doing what we originally set out to do, which is, you know, help people get better at fitness. So.
Awesome. It is so rewarding then to see people having the results. Like there's nothing better than that, right?
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. Does anyone have any questions in the meantime? Just drop them.
I see that Dee just asked, now that you're in business for a while, what do you do to stay motivated every day? Did you advertise in the beginning? All right, so number one, what do you do to stay motivated? I think it's really important that you need something that motivates you to keep going, right? If you're just like, if your goal, if your vision for yourself is to start an online business, honestly, that's a terrible vision, I think, because all you're going to do is you're going to start an online business and then you're going to be like, well, I did it, you know, and then you're done. So I think it's really important to have a vision or a mission or whatever you want to call it. That's big. That's more comprehensive. Now you can make smaller goals that help you get there. Like the first thing to do is to start. And then the second thing to do is probably to make 10 sales. And then the third thing to do, you know, you can break out your lofty vision into smaller bits, but you don't want to have like your big dream to start an online business. You want to have it be something more than that. Start an online business that does X, Y, Z, you know, that impacts 1 million people, that teaches, you know, 200,000 people how to do this. I mean, there's so many different goals and missions that you can come up with. But if you have something that really kind of sets your eyes and your vision on the future, and you connect that future with an impact, because really, like, money for a lot of people isn't necessarily the reason to do it. I think for some people it helps. You know, money definitely is a great thing, and it can help you earn freedom. And then that freedom will help you become happy. And that freedom will help you, you know, get yourself out of some bad situations sometimes. But it's important to have some motivation that is some sort of impact on other people. So set your sights high on an impact that you can make with your business. That's, I think, how to really keep yourself motivated every day. There's going to be days that you don't want to do it. There's going to be days that you don't want to make content. There's going to be days you don't want to send an email. But having that vision helps. And then also like sticking with the schedule. I know for me, it's like, I'm a creative energy kind of person. So I have like huge highs and huge lows. And depending on how much caffeine I have, you know, like there's ebbs and flows in my motivation. You can't rely on motivation to be your boss, right? You need to be like, well, it's Wednesday, it's 8 a.m., it's time to go to work, right? Like you do have to treat it like a profession. It's not just a fun side gig where you just get to go sit on the beach all day. You do have to treat it as a profession, and that's going to help you stay motivated, even in the times where you don't feel motivated. And number two, did you advertise in the beginning? No. I did full organic everything, no advertising whatsoever. I didn't even start really advertising until this year. Like we're like just now starting to figure it out, which is a very, very slow way to do it. But I think it's kind of like building a house. If you build a house on a weak foundation, that's what I think starting a business fully relying on paid advertising tends to be. I know several people in masterminds that I've been a part of that have started businesses purely based on advertising, and then overnight Facebook shuts them down, or overnight, something changes in an algorithm and boom, Tina knows all about the whole Facebook, just deciding to, no, you're done, we cancel you. So building on pure advertising, very, very risky. Now you can go the opposite side, which is me, where I built the first 5 years 100% organically. So that just means creating tons of content, hoping that people like it and share it, and trying to build our SEO. That's it, right? Like, it's just a very, very slow growth model, which if I were to do it again, I would probably do both. I would both really focus on making sure my organic is tight. And then once I have a proof of concept to show me, okay, these videos organically grow, which means they have an audience that I don't need to pay for. Now let's add a little fuel to the fire. So if I had to go back, I think I could grow the business a little bit quicker if I hopped into paid advertising a little sooner, but I definitely still would not recommend doing it right off the bat. You can use it to test things right off the bat, but if your whole business 100% relies on paid advertising, I think you're building your house on an unstable foundation.
I agree 100%. What is your vision? Your big why? What kicks you out of bed if you have a bad day and you don't want to press that email send button?
That's a good question. Actually, I need to work on my goals. Obviously this year's been crazy. It's been especially crazy here at WOD Prep. But I'm working on, I have like an hour and a half blocked out in my schedule today to like come up with end of year goal, like restart my OKRs for the team that we have. Anyway, but the overall vision that I have, or the overall mission, I would say, is I think fitness has the ability to change people's lives, both mentally and physically. Like, sure, it's nice to like look better naked. Good for you, right? But for me, fitness changed my life because it made me, Maddie, don't do that, not on camera. Fitness made me dedicate myself to being mentally, physically, and nutritionally fit. So now I care about my nutrition. I care about sleep. I care about my mental strength. I care about my habits. All that whole trickle down effect from falling in love with fitness has changed my life. And I've personally seen it as a coach change so many other people's lives. All of a sudden they fall in love with fitness, usually through CrossFit. And then all of a sudden, all these dominoes start to fall where they're going to bed a little earlier. Maybe they're drinking a little less alcohol. They're having, less sweets and eating more vegetables. They're actually starting to like think, hey, if this is really difficult, I can overcome this because I do CrossFit. So ultimately, WOD Prep exists to help people fall in love with CrossFit, which will then change their entire lives and change their families' lives. So the story that I have is like, I fell in love with CrossFit because it was kind of like a sport for me. It changed my life. And then now I've taught and like this, the trickle down effect is like now my wife and her whole family and my dad and my brother and their friends and their friends and their friends all do CrossFit. And it's all comes from like, if I had never fallen in love with it, chances are the trickle down effect wouldn't have happened. Like 3 of my aunts that are over 60 years old all do CrossFit. And they've all lost tons. Oh yeah. They've all lost tons of weight. Yeah. It's a misconception to think that CrossFit is only for like young, fit people. It's like, no, half of my relatives that do it were old and obese, and now they're fit and a little older. Anyway, so I know that was like a really long meandering mission. I don't necessarily have it boiled down to like 3 sentences, but ultimately we exist to help people fall in love with CrossFit. If we can teach them those skills, then they go, oh my gosh, I'm getting better at this. This is incredible. That's going to help them fall in love with CrossFit, and then their whole lives will be changed, and they'll pass that along to other people. So
awesome. Did you see a spike in signups during Corona?
We saw a spike in probably email subscribers just because we were smart and made a couple really good lead magnets where it was like, stuck at home, here are 28 free workouts you can do from home, right? But I will say it was really interesting. Like when coronavirus hit, we had a huge dip in revenue, but email subscribers were up. So we had a lot of people interested, but a lot of people were like, I don't want to spend a dime. And then after that dip in revenue, so we had one of our worst months in recent history. And then the following month was one of our best months. It was like month number 2, all time. So it was very, very weird. It was, just like everything was unstable. But I think what happened is a lot of people were frightened. They didn't know what was going to happen with their gyms. Their gyms got shut down. They had no equipment at all. They had no plan. They had no motivation. And frankly, it's like, if they're worried about their health and safety and finances, fitness might come secondary to them. And then once things sort of stabilized, then we made some pitches, made some offers, and people, bought them. So, crazy times, just like everybody else, I'm sure, experienced. Yeah, exactly, D.
People panicked in the beginning, and then they realized that it was going to last for a while. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So when that dip hit you, were you thinking of pivoting to like home workouts only or something like that? Because people obviously weren't able to join gyms, and nobody knows how long it's gone on for. We are back in lockdown all of a sudden, we don't know what's going to happen. Did you ever think of pivoting a little bit or anything like that?
So we did a little bit. It wasn't like, basically I didn't want to like change industries and like say WOD prep is now this.
Yeah.
I wanted to be stable. I wanted to be like a source of like, hey, we're still doing what we do. We're still going to coach you, join these courses. If you have the equipment to, do the courses, we'd love to have you. If not, no worries. So, but what we did within one of our products is we had a product that was a monthly recurring membership. And then what we did within that product is we offered at-home programming or at-home workouts with minimal or zero equipment. So what that did was like, we just added that as a feature to one of our products. So if they did have equipment, they still would love the product. If they didn't have equipment, they now have a reason to buy the product. So I added it as a feature, not a totally new offer.
Yeah. Cool. So we had a few more people joining in. If anyone has any questions for Ben, please drop them in the chat box below and we will address them. So in the meantime, when did you start WOD prep again? What year was that? How long have you been doing it?
I think I started it in 2015. So I started in 2015. That was, I think, technically when I made my first video. And then I sold my first course in the fall of 2015, and then immediately moved to Japan in the early 2016, and then ran the company from Japan for a while. But yeah, I think we're coming on about 6 years. I'm not very good with dates, nor do I care about them very much. But yeah, about 6-ish years we've been officially in business, and yeah, it's been awesome.
Awesome. How many different programs do you have on your website? And could you also address WOD prep, what that means? I'm not sure if everyone.
Yeah, of course. So how many courses do we have? We have probably too many. We have a lot. I think it's 14 right now, if I had to guess. Of course, I don't know it off the top of my head, but we have 14. Ultimately, what they are is like, they're all like individual skills within this whole like CrossFit skill set. So a lot of people, when they come to us, they have like a very specific pain point, and we solve that very specific pain point. Eventually, we are going to move to more of like a comprehensive, like, yeah, you can just get access to everything for one price. That's probably one of our next moves. And then WOD prep, a very weird name. If you're into CrossFit, you'd understand it. So WOD, W-O-D, stands for workout of the day. That's what, if you go to any CrossFit gym or you're familiar with it, they call it like, hey, what's the WOD for today? So what's the workout of the day? And then WOD prep is just me adding prep to the end of WOD, which is, we'll help prepare you for your workout of the day. That's it. And yeah, it's funny every time I like bring it up and, masterminds, so many people are like, I think you should change your name. It doesn't make sense. And I'm like, well, it actually makes perfect sense to people in my niche. It will be challenging for me to move outside of the niche because they will be super confused. So maybe I will change it if I, expand beyond the CrossFit ecosystem. And then I see, I don't know how to pronounce the name. Is it LLZ? Elza. Okay, that makes sense now.
Which platform do you use?
Yeah. Hi, which platforms do you use to sell your courses? So we've tried a bunch. I was on, when I started initially, I was on ClickFunnels and just, built all the pages myself. And they were very ugly. And the membership dashboard in ClickFunnels was the bane of my existence. I did not like it. And I changed away as soon as I could afford to pay someone to help me change away from it. But it did help me get started. So, and maybe their platforms come a long way. I don't know. So now I just have a WordPress website that uses Thrive themes. That's just a plugin that helps people build pages. And I have a web developer that does all of that because I don't touch those things anymore because I'll break them. And then my actual course delivery platform is Teachable. I think, yeah, or it's Teachable. So, but it's like the platforms and the tech. It's not a very important thing because really, like, I could be on any platform using any type. Like, I could have a Squarespace website connected to, I don't know, Kajabi or something. I don't know. There's like so many different membership plugins and things like that don't get too wrapped up in the tech. Just find some recommendations from people who have similar business models to what you want to run, and then see what they're using and ask them why they think it's better. Do a little research and then make a decision, and yeah, you'll be fine. You don't stress too much about the platform.
I think it also depends on what type of technology bits and pieces different people already have purchased. Kajabi, for example, is the platform which comes with everything. If you don't have an email service provider yet, if you don't have Thrivecart or anything like that yet, Kajabi is like an all-in-one, where versus Teachable has different benefits to it. Like, each platform has different things, and it depends on what you already have set up. I would never recommend running it fully on LearnDash and WordPress. I have been through hell, and I will share more about that later on. But having like a normal WordPress website just for the front, but hosting it somewhere else is definitely the way to go, like you said. I wanted to ask you, Ben, what do you think what is the number one pain point you're solving through teaching people the workouts? Is it they may be embarrassed to go to the gym because they don't know how to do it properly? They don't want to ask the gym instructor directly? Or what is the underlying issue?
Yeah, so I think the underlying issue really is a status thing. So in CrossFit, let's say there's a workout that's like, 5 rounds of 5 pull-ups, 5 push-ups, 5 500-meter run or something like that. If you go into the gym and you look at the WOD, so workout of the day, that's what the workout is. If you don't have pull-ups, if you're unable to perform pull-ups, then you have to scale down. You have to do a modified version, which is, I love that. That's the beauty of CrossFit is I can go and do the same workout as my mom and my dad in the same gym at the same time and get the same stimulus, get the same kind of workout in. She would probably scale down because she can't do a pull-up, and I would be able to do the pull-up. So what we saw for our clients and our athletes is that when they go into the gym, it actually gets really frustrating when you can see people like yourself doing the workout exactly as it's written, and then you have to modify because you're not good enough or you're not fit enough to do it. So that gap between where I am and the fitness that I want to have and the abilities I want to have, that's where we come in. We help people basically fill in their holes and their abilities in their game. So if we're talking about, like, if I'm making the analogy to business, it would be like someone who's a business owner who sees all these other people really good at paid advertising, or all these other people are really good at Instagram, and all these other people are really good at, whatever, email marketing. So they buy, and they buy learning or buy teaching to help them get better at email marketing, or to help them unlock the keys to paid advertising or unlock the keys to Instagram. So they're picking up these skills to become a well-rounded business person. That's exactly what we're doing. We're helping people pick up the skills to help them become a well-rounded CrossFitter so that they can finally have the status of being the person that can do it all.
Cool. Tina, I'll catch the replay for the balance. Sorry, Ben, not you. I just have to dash. Cool. Right, I believe in that, Ibrahim. Awesome. All right, guys, does anyone have any more questions? Ben, what would you say to people who are still thinking about, not sure of whether they should create an online course or not? They're still to go through with it.
I can say with confidence that if you truly dedicate the time, energy, and effort to learn and execute, it's one thing to just learn and then do nothing about it. But if you learn from someone who has been there and done that, and then you actually follow what they say to follow and do what they say to do, it could be an absolutely life-changing event. For me, it took a long time. It took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. It took a lot of $0 an hour work, but I was able to build a company that now employs 10 people, and we have customers from all over the world, and now money and travel and like none of that is an issue. Like I could go to Australia if the borders weren't restricted. I don't even know what the rules are, but I could go to Australia for a week next week and everything would be fine and the business would still make money and I'd be able to make money because it's all on the internet, and I'd still be able to work and I'd be able to have fun. I could go to Steve Irwin's zoo again, which is my favorite. So ultimately, starting an online course that helps you build a business can be absolutely life-changing, and it can be a complete disaster if you don't have someone to teach you how to do it, because you can't just build it and then say, where is everyone? You have to have an audience, and then you have to figure out how to actually sell to that audience. So yeah, it's life-changing, and I highly encourage people to do it, because especially now more than ever, this whole face-to-face teaching or in-person businesses, everything seems to be moving remote and online. So now is the time to jump on that bandwagon if you haven't already. Online learning is a giant growing industry.
Yeah, 325 billion. Supposed to be a 325 billion industry by 2025. The e-learning.
I believe it.
Yeah. Awesome. All right. I guess that's it. That's a wrap. Thank you so much, Ben, for coming on and sharing your amazing story with us. I think very, very highly of you. Thank you so much for taking the time and sharing everything with us. That's been recorded. It will be put up for replay, so many more people will see you. And yeah, connect with Ben. I will drop some links from his website and stuff in the next email, so you can check out his stuff, say hi if you wanted to do that. And yeah, I will see you all back tomorrow, same time, same place. Thank you so much.
Thanks for having me. It was great meeting everybody.
Thank you for coming on. Thanks for jumping on, everybody.